Hi, hello. Happy Tuesday. If you can hear something going zip zip, it's my phone because I've turned the notifications off, but I forgot to turn off the buzzing sound, so it goes zip zip. But at least it's better than it going ding-a-ling, ding-a-ling, and annoying you all. So I usually do remember to turn off the notifications, although you will hear when the alarm goes off, because I always forget to stop the video before. Because, you know, we said before, not a lot going on between the ears. Where have I been today? I've been down to Cleveleys. I went down with my friend. She hasn't been in the new shop, you know, the Millstores, is it called? I was very good. The only thing I bought, well, I didn't actually buy it, my friend bought it for me. A packet of toffees, which are treacle toffees. And I shouldn't be eating them anyway. As you know, I've got my HB1C, my diabetes blood test on Monday, which is going to be horrendous. So I don't think that eating a few sweeties is going to make a whole lot of difference. Anyway, I woke up this morning and I thought, oh no, it's raining. It's not so bad for me because I've got a top on my scooter, but my friend, she hasn't got one. So I said to her, do you want me to look out my, you know, I've got a purple cape. After the Cape Crusaders in the garage. I said, do you want me to look for my purple cape? She went, no, because I'm not going to wear it if you find it. I should explain, it's purple, it's got a huge hood, it's got a great big visor, and it's got a thing across the front. It comes back from the days of COVID, I think, yeah. But unfortunately, I've got a small head. You may think I'm big-headed, but I've actually got a small head. So when I'm going down the seafront, it comes slowly forward. And the beak bit, whatever you want to call it, the peak bit, falls down, so I can't see where I'm going. So I have to keep stopping and pushing it up. I did try putting a scrunchie around the top of it, but it looked rather stupid, you know. This purple hooded thing with a big scrunchie stuck on the top, but, you know, I don't really care what I look like, as long as it was keeping me dry. But the thing was, it was so big. We're going back in the days before I had the scooter with the top on. So I'd be going down the seafront and it would be billowing because it's very windy. So I'd be going like that, like a great big stingray going down the seafront, big purple thing. Can you imagine what people must have thought when they saw this thing coming towards them? I tried all methods. I tried putting clothes pegs, you know, the spring clothes pegs, to peg it down or underneath, but so I was so glad. That's one of the reasons why I decided to get a scooter with a hood over. The one reason was, if you remember, I was having a great deal of difficulty with the scooter that I already had, and it kept breaking down and it kept setting off without me. It's a bit unnerving, that, you know, when you're having to say gangway, gangway, because you can't stop it. You take your hand off everything and it still carried on going. And I was nearly mowing old ladies over with their dogs, you know, and it was a bit embarrassing. I would just say, excuse me, I can't stop, excuse me, I can't stop. And they're all going, what? And you're nearly up the back of them and the dogs, oh. So I told them, I said, I can't keep this scooter. And they took it away and they said, we can't find anything wrong with it. I said, well, there's certainly something wrong with it. I said, the people on the seafront could attest to the fact that I'm almost running them over. And I think I told you, I ran into the bin outside the co-op because I couldn't stop. And everybody's like, what the heck? She's a terrible driver, she can't stop. I walloped into the litter bin, boom. It stopped me, but it didn't do a whole lot of good to the litter bin. So I haven't had a bill for it, so it's okay, don't worry about it. Yeah. Anyway, we got down the sea. It actually stopped raining, but it was windy. So we got down the seafront and we went to Cleveleys, and we went into this store, and she saw a lot of things that she really, really liked, a lot of sandals and shoes. And I'm like, no, I have spent my allocation for the month of, what are we in, June? Yeah. I think I've probably spent May and July as well, but we won't go into that. But you know, when you're on a budget, you're on a set amount of money each month, you know what you call your mad money, your money you can play with. So you either buy crafts, you know, a bit of yarn, a bit of whatever. But as you know, I'm trying to use up what I've got in the shed. So I bought, as you know, 2 dresses and 2 skirts. So that was my money gone. Anyway, my friend did buy some slippers, but not from that shop. She just bought some slippers from one of the other little shops. It's more like a market kind of shop. You know, one of those open fronted things where they drag everything out onto the pavement. So she bought some slippers. I didn't see what kind of slippers she bought. I'll have to ask her later. And we called in a couple of charity shops, thrift shops to you. Saw nothing. Nothing at all. My friend did see a handbag, but it wasn't even real leather. And it looked a little bit battered. And they wanted £10 for it. I think I told you the other day I saw a lovely one in another shop, but they wanted £8.99 for it. When you think about it, the expensive shop, well, Millstores, probably middle of the road to most people, but expensive to me. There was a proper leather handbag in there for, I think it was £15. So when you think they're asking £10 for a fake leather second-hand scuffed one in the charity shop, I thought, no, you're taking the Michael here. You know, you really are. I don't mind paying if the quality's good, if it's brand new, but this handbag had seen better days. It was very scuffed. So, no. Anyway, I'm actually wearing like a chunky bolero. You've seen it before, haven't you? If you want a pattern, I'll have to make it out and find it for you. It was done in, oh gosh, I was going to say James C. Brett. Maybe it was done in James C. Brett marble chunky, I don't know. But again, I've put the longer sleeve. I think I mentioned to you the other day, I like a sleeve that comes over. You know, when you get to a certain age group, you don't want the baggy armpits, do you? Yeah. So what have I got to show you today? Well, it's one that I've got for sale. I've put it on Instagram and Facebook. It's lilac. It's got beautiful silver sequins on it, if you can see. It is much nicer than it's looking on here, actually. Much nicer. If you are interested in it, I'm selling it in the UK for £25 plus £4 postage, which is probably actually what I actually paid for the yarn, because it was a Jaeger, if I remember rightly, and it wasn't cheap. So I'm not actually charging anything for my labour for making the thing. I have the lovely honey cream one, which is a gorgeous colour of cream. It's like a honey beigey colour with gold sequins. I've got a black one with black sequins, and I've got this one, lilac with the silver sequins. They're all the same pattern. They have the little sort of scoop neck with the little tiny cap sleeve. So if you're interested, it's on Instagram, it's on Facebook, or you can message me on here. I've got my email address in the show notes, in the notes underneath the video. Yeah. Anything you want to know, just send me a message. I have to say thank you for all the lovely comments. And thank you very much, Seaside, for saying you'll buy me the canal barge if you ever win the lottery. It's nice to know I've got some lovely friends. And I've had some lovely comments, people saying, oh, we like your upbeat videos, you're always so cheerful. I'm not always cheerful, that's a lie, but I do try to be when I'm on here. There's enough doom and gloom in the world. You've only got to switch on the TV. And it's this has happened, that's happened. There's a disaster here. There's a fire here. There's a bomb in there. Knife in here. You know, shooting there. You know, I know it's wrong of me that I'm not. It's not that I'm not concerned, don't get me wrong. I am concerned with what's going on in the world. But I don't want to switch on the TV and that's the only thing I see. You know, there used to be, at the end of the news, there used to be a bit of good news. And they would show you a puppy or a kitten or something or other. And they always ended on a good news note. They don't do it anymore. Maybe they can't find any good news. I'm sure they could if they looked hard enough. I mean, there is good news in the world, isn't there? There's always somebody doing something nice for somebody else. But we don't get to hear about that in general. We get to hear all about the the nasty bits. You know, like all teenagers are dreadful, and they're not. A percentage of them are, but it's a percentage. We all know teenagers that live near us that are lovely. You know, they go out their way to do things for you. They're very polite. They don't stand on a street corner and shout abuse and, you know, mug you as you go by. That's what the newspapers would have us believe. They would have us believe that the next generation up is terrible. They do all these awful, awful things. It's a percentage, and that's what they don't tell you. I mean, we've always had the wrongdoers and the right doers, if that's the right word. You know, there's always been wrongdoers in any generation, all through history, all through generations. It's not just now that it's suddenly become worse. There is a lot of violence, I must admit, too much violence in this world, and I don't understand why. I'm of a generation where we were polite to our elders and we didn't push them over in the street and steal their handbags and things like that. But it's a generational thing, and I suppose we have to move with the times. I've always said I'm glad I'm not young now. Yes, I would like to be younger and go back, but I would want to go back to how it was when I was young, when I was a teenager growing up, when I was in my 20s and 30s. I liked that era, if you know what I mean. I wouldn't want to be a teenager now, even in my 20s and my 30s now. I don't know whether I could cope, actually. I'm from a little village originally, you know. Lived half my life, well, not half my life, a quarter of my life. I lived in a little sleepy place. It probably had its share of things that went wrong, but by and large it wasn't a violent little town. It was a town, although it was more like a village. There must have been things going on, but, you know, you didn't hear about them the same. It wasn't blasted all over the paper, was it, you know? Whoa, headline, yeah. Excuse me when I have a drink. Anyway, but now I've dropped the lid and it's rolled right over there. I'm sure it won't go flat in a few minutes while I'm talking to you. Anyway, we went down Cleveleys and we finished up having our breakfast. We had an all-day breakfast, only a small breakfast. It was a piece of bacon, a sausage, sorry if you're vegetarian, a piece of bacon, a sausage, a fried egg, a piece of fried bread, and we could have a choice of beans, baked beans, or tomatoes, tinned tomatoes. Don't really like tinned tomatoes, and I don't like baked beans unless they're a certain brand. Yes, I know, I'm a label snob, as my son calls me. But I like the taste of a certain brand of baked beans. I'm not going to advertise them because they're not sponsoring me, so I'm not advertising them. But I like a certain brand of baked beans, and I don't like the cheap baked beans. Not quite the same. So as I say, we browsed in a couple of charity shops, didn't find anything. My friend went into the works because she had to buy a sympathy card because sadly her neighbours passed away. And she also bought herself 3 paperback books. And then she bought herself another couple of books in the charity shop. So she must be going to do a lot of reading because she had 5 books in the end. And she did buy a beautiful top in the expensive shop. I had my eye on it actually, but I wasn't going to spend another £20. And also now my friend's bought it, we won't be, you know, like the gruesome twosome. We won't be twins, if you know what I mean. It was like a white sort of cheeseclothy effect with long sleeves, and it had dark blue embroidery on it. It was very, very pretty. I'd actually seen it when I bought the skirts, you know, it was on the same rail, the reduced rail. And I'd been a bit about it, but I thought, no, you're spending too much money. You have to decide, don't you, at a certain stage, yes, I do like it, yes, it is beautiful, but do I actually absolutely need it? No. So much as I like it, I'll enjoy watching Kim wear hers. What have I got on? I've got my beads that are like, I think they're wooden. They're like wooden discs or whatever. I decided that it was green and turquoise, which was like green and turquoise on the top. I don't actually match my skirt because my skirt today is, where can you see it? Oh, it's all very brightly coloured. It has got some green in it, but I don't exactly match my skirt, but hey ho, we like to be different. I have reached out, I've had these trousers about 2 years, still not shortened them. They are lovely, they are me, they are gorgeous. Yeah, beautiful trousers. But they are also meant for somebody who's about 6'5". And also they're bell bottoms. Bell bottoms. So by the time I cut off probably about at least 8 inches, they will no longer be bell bottoms, will they? Still, I reached them out hoping that I will hem them. Got the sewing machine still there. Still haven't put the zip in the fleece. It's all tacked in. I pinned it first and then I tacked it with big threads of a different colour so I could see. So all I've got to do is to try to run the machine. But the trouble is, with fleece, the machine tends to push the fleece along. You know, you really could do with sewing it very slowly so it doesn't push it, if you know what I mean. The press of foot pushes it. So you finish up with a lump at one end if you're not careful. So this is what's put me off doing it, yeah. Anyway, I'm going to try my best to try you really need another person, don't you, when you try them on. Because you lean forward like that, and of course they drop down when you lean forward, so you can't pin them. So you really need another person pinning them up in the right place. Because I could be wearing them. Couldn't I? Yeah, and I've got another pair that's coming apart. They're made out of the same fabric as this, which is lovely fabric, but it's a woven jersey fabric. And where the seams are, it tends to fray. The skirt is actually sewn twice on the seam, so that's okay. But the trousers were actually sewn with a zigzag. And even though there's plenty of room in them, it's not me that's busted out of them, although I have put weight on. It's not me that's busted out of them, it's just frayed. I think actually when I came to look at the label it did say hand wash only, and of course I didn't, did I? Put them in the washing machine. We put everything in the washing machine, don't we, these days? Anyway, what am I doing? I'm still doing the green cardigan. Although, you know, the Gulf Coast shrug. But I've made my own sleeves up. I know you say, oh Janet, why do you always have to alter patterns? But, you know, the lady I'm making it for, she doesn't know I'm making it for her, by the way, it's a gift. I'm sure she would appreciate the long sleeves. So I've done the two long sleeves, I've done those. And I was doing last night, throwing the crochet hook on the floor, it's just joined the lid of my drink. I'm doing, it's all in one, she's not a great huge lady, it's all in one. So I've got kind of almost to the armholes, although she would, I think she likes them a bit longer. So, you know, I've still got a few rows to do before I divide for the armholes. Oh, I'm holding this upside down. Yeah, it's that way. So, I'm still using it. It's the wash and wear, which as I said, it's not soft. If you're thinking it's going to be buttery soft, as they keep saying, it's not. But it's very, very hard wearing. And it doesn't pill, and it doesn't go fuzzy. It's 55% acrylic, 45% nylon, and it comes in a 50-gram ball, approximately 135 metres. So it doesn't have a brilliant yardage at all. So I've used about 6 or 7 so far to do the 2 sleeves and what I've done so far. I've still got part of this ball left. So that will probably get me up to the armholes. So I'm thinking it will probably take, I did have 2 packs with 10 50-gram balls in, and I was hoping that 1 pack would do what I'm doing, but I've got a funny feeling I'm going to break into another couple, if you know what I mean. So what else can I tell you? I've got a brooch on. I did buy a load of brooches from my good old eBay, you know. I do like a bargain off eBay. I look in all the charity shops, but they're never so much of a bargain anymore. At one time, you know, my charity shops like in Prestwich, they used to be fantastic. Prices, which I believe, like everywhere. I've got another friend who's a charity shop queen like me. And she said, oh my goodness, the prices in the charity shop have gone really, really expensive. Now, I know it's all for a good cause and everything. But when you see things on the shelves and things on the rails and they're not being sold and they're not being sold, you're thinking to yourself, they'd sell more and generate more money if they just reduced them a tiny bit. Oh, in the expensive shop, my eyes were drawn to a granny square jacket, which was like white round the outside and different colours. Crochet looked, but when I got close to it, it wasn't. It was that funny machine, weird type of crochet. But the whole jacket was, I think it was about £18. If it had been really done in yarn, really done as granny squares, because it was long, it was like down to the knees or past, it would have been a lot more than £18. You know, so I'm thinking, nah. Sorry, was it £18 or was it 28? I don't think it was 18, come to think about it now. I think it might have been 28. But you couldn't make it for that actually. You know, your time and your effort and the yarn, if you got decent yarn and you actually crocheted it instead of that machine weird. I don't know whether you've seen pseudo crochet done with a machine. It isn't like crochet. It looks at a distance like it's crochet, but when you get close up to it, it's like weird loopy stitches. They're strange looking things, yeah. Because my friend said, oh, look at that. And I went, oh, yeah. But and it had really, really slim sleeves. You'd have had to have arms like a pipe cleaner to get your arm down it, yeah. I've got one with granny squares. It's too big for me actually now. Black one with bright colours in the middle. I keep thinking I will make myself another one because I have got the yarn in the shed. Got enough yarn to make another one. But, I mean, I've actually got a few sweaters and things I need to sort out, but they're not good enough to sell because they're fluffed up. You know, when you've had them a bit, they've gone a bit out of shape and baggy and they're fluffed up. And you're like, do they really want them in the charity shop? Or would they just bin them? And yet I can't think of anybody who actually want them, because they were when I was bigger. They're bigger ones. I don't mean big, big, big ones. I mean bigger than what I am now. Oh, I am dreading Monday. Oh, I'm just dreading them saying, your HB1C is terrible, your levels are terrible, your blood sugar's up the wall. Which I know it is. I've told you before, I stress eat. Yeah. And if I get stressed, I eat. I either crochet like mad, which I'm doing, and I eat like mad, which I'm doing, yeah. And I'm on my own this week because I've got no dogs and I've got no humans. The humans are in Spain and the dogs are in the kennels. Because the last time I got left with the dogs, if you remember, Rosie pushed me over. And I couldn't get up off the floor. Because once I'm down on the deck, I am like a tortoise when it's turned over on its back. I can't get up. So the thought of me being a week on my own and the thought I might fall over. I mean, don't get me wrong, I can trip over nothing. I can trip over an eyelash. You know, I fall over sometimes and think, what on earth did I fall over? So I just keep my fingers crossed that I stay on 2 feet, if you know what I mean. And I don't want to have a... I've got a wheeler. Actually got a wheeler, but it's one of those you take out shopping, a wheeler. It's not one of those house frames. It wouldn't help me up if I had one. If I fell and I was using it, it wouldn't help me up because it would just tip with me. Not strong enough. So, back when I lived on my own, I used to use I had big, heavy, solid furniture when I lived at my other house. And I could pull myself up on it because it wouldn't tip over. You know, it was built good old solid wood furniture. And even my recliner was a really heavy duty recliner. You know, you could practically jump up and down on it and it wouldn't have moved. But when I moved here, the removal men tried to take the back off it and it didn't come off and they ruined it. So it never worked properly after that. So I got 2 more. This one I'm sitting on and the one in the front room. And they're not wide enough, they're not comfy enough, they're not, can I put it, robust. And also, beneath this pink cover, they are my absolute unfavourite colour. They are beige. The only reason why I got them was they were very, very cheap, and it was the guy who was putting the windows in. He'd bought 2 of them for his mum. And he'd only just bought them for his mum when sadly she became bedridden and then she passed away. So they've hardly ever been sat on. And they are ridiculously expensive chairs for what they are. So he offered them for, I can't remember how much each I paid for them, but they were a fraction of what they'd cost it as new. But he just wanted to get rid of them because he was obviously clearing his mum's house because she passed away. So he said, did we want them? So I said, yeah. But I found out they're not as comfy. And they've got wooden bits on the end of the arms which sort of stick in me. My other one was wider, and it had wide arms where you could actually balance your pattern or a cup of coffee on. This one's got, you know, silly little, I don't know whether you can see them or not, silly wooden arms. That horrible shade of beige. But horrible wooden arms. They're not comfy. They're not. I've had to put extra cushions underneath, you know, foam cushions underneath to raise me up because I couldn't knit because my arms were banging on the sides. Yeah. Oh, there we go. See, I mistimed it again. Oh, why won't it stop? Anyway, thank you everybody that's left me some gorgeous comments. I'm going to go and try and answer them all now. And, you know, it's lovely when I get nice comments. And I have got another couple more new subscribers. Hey, got me. So somebody listen to my plea for the thumbs up, comments, subscribe. Tell all your friends. Do look at Janet because she's brilliant, you know. Da 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 da. Blowing my own trumpet again. And don't forget, if you're interested in this sweater, the black one or the cream one, do let me know, because they are for sale and they are a bargain price. I'm only charging you for what I paid for the wool, yeah? Yarn, whatever. Anyway, bye for now. Happy Tuesday.